How are you, brother Joseph?
I'm good. I'm actually happy I'm on the call right now. But everything's good. Just trying to figure things out and yeah, I'm happy to be on the call to really
Yes.
see if I can, finally take the course.
Yes, sir. So, why don't you share me a little bit about yourself, brother Joseph? Because I do want to make sure that I know your story to know whether we can help you or not. Because we do receive a lot of application, and we
Yeah.
deny a lot of application as well. Because we don't want to. Number one, we don't want to misleading people. Number two, we don't want to take people in and then leaving them hanging if they're not willing to take the action.
Yeah. That makes sense. Sorry, could you repeat the question so that uh I'm just clear with what I can share and I guess what you need to hear from me.
Absolutely, brother. So, what got you to the call today? What brought you here today?
Well, one, because I wanted to learn to make more money and just improve the lifestyle, of course, of me and my family. I'm single, but I do have parents back in Asia that I want to take care of. I'm currently here in the US. I just graduated from my master's program, and I remember following you sometime in 2023, and the first thing that popped up was like, I think you were Christian one, and then two, you're doing e-commerce, and I think I never really saw myself uh doing, I guess, Amazon as like a seller, right? But I didn't know how profitable it could be and how much time I could get back. And so I was very interested with those two aspects of things where I could get more time back, spend more time with my family, give them a little bit better lifestyle because I'm going to be working here in the States and it's great, but I want to make sure that I can give them more than what I'm limited to. So that's kind of where I'm coming from. My family are from Malaysia, and so currently my mom's visiting the US because she's just celebrating my graduation recently. But with that said, I want to be very open, transparent with my financial background, financial status right now, because I just paid off my school. I just paid everything off every single time. I'm like left with like basically for a few $1,000s in my bank account right now. So I'm pretty much starting from scratch. I do have a job that is paying me. So I should be able to get money to actually pay for the course. But think that's why I want to get on the call to also figure out, how much would I need in reserve to pay for the course, but to also now like even pay for the whole startup process. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Okay. Thank you, brother. And first of all, congratulations on the graduation because that's one of the major milestones. And I know for sure that you will get a good job follow after that, and that's gonna help you to start having consistent cash flow. Okay, and great job. And I think your mom is really proud of you too, and we share the same vision. Family first, brother.
Thank you. Yeah. No, yeah, that's really why I got on the call today. It's like to really help them out. So,
Absolutely.
um, yeah, family always first.
And so it seems like your goal, correct me if I'm wrong, but your goal here is number one, really gain back your time to spend time with your family and also the financial freedom by running your own business so that you can give more to your family and take care of your parents. And how old are they?
My mom right now, she's in her 60s. My dad, I think he's almost hitting 70s. So they're up there. Yeah.
Their time is running out, to be honest.
Yep. Yeah.
So I'm glad that we have this call because my dad passed away a long time ago. But I just wish that I could grow up faster and sooner.
Mhm.
And same with my mom. She's almost in her 70 now. And when I was working, I would just keep thinking, this is going to be my life for the rest of my life, working for other people. It's scary. And seeing my
Yeah.
mom, she can only call in to me like at nighttime, but then I'm so tired and I don't have time to talk to her because the corporate ladder, it just sucked the soul out of you.
Right. Right. I'm feeling that for sure.
Are you working
Um,
right now too? Or
yeah, I got hired as an operation manager for it's the same company that I've been working for like the last uh like 3 years, and they rehired me after I graduated. So it's been nice. But I see myself doing more than 27 an hour. I
uh,
feel like I feel like there could be more went to school for, and I definitely want to see myself, on the lucrative side in life where I can give back to society as well. So I think time is precious, like what you're talking about, and I didn't think 30 years of my life would just go by so fast. Um, and so I'm thinking, what's like another 30 years going by just as fast, right? Now that I know what 3 years feels like. So that's kind of where I'm coming in with that mindset. Okay, I just really want to put this whole rat race thing and really take each year, each month, each day, week as it comes, and to really enjoy it and to savor it with the right people, and to really give back to the right people too. uh, I mean, the bigger goal that I have is really to give back to the younger generation and to help them find different opportunities. I mean, I'm not sure if this is part of the call, but I do want to actually empower like the youth to actually start their own businesses. And so I wanted to start like this entrepreneurship school back in Asia where um, the less fortunate can join and they'll have reserves and fundings to actually start different ideas that they have. But it was just because when I was growing up, I had some crazy ideas, but I never had anyone to actually encourage me to do stuff like that. And so it's kind of the inspiration there is to teach kids how to start their own businesses at a very young age so that they don't have to wait for the right time, right, to go to school and college to start something that they can already be doing with someone as a mentor. So,
Absolutely, brother. I love that idea. And I think that you are on the right track because based on the way that you communicate, I feel like you're a really good communicator and you can really communicate well. And it seems like you may have some background in education. You do teach, right? Have you
um,
done, have you teach
I've
anything before?
never I've mentored people
Yeah,
in
there you go.
companies, but
Mhm.
I wouldn't say I'm a full-time teacher, if anything. But
Yeah,
thank you though. I appreciate that. That's a huge compliment for sure.
absolutely. Because I think that you built for that. And also it's aligning with what God put inside of your heart. 'Cause same for me. I do share the same dream with you as that's why Amazon Shufu is here for a reason. Right now we focus on Amazon, but we do expanding to digital marketing, into real estate, and etc. later in the future where people around the world can have access. And I think we can build something like that together. I'm on board with that idea with you, and that's why we're here.
It's
And yes,
amazing.
brother, absolutely. And so, tell me more about what have you tried so far for entrepreneurship? Because you have dream, like you shared with me, you have dream, crazy idea, but have you started entrepreneurship before?
I mean, there were some crazy ideas I've had in the past when I was going through my undergraduate school. There was this pyrolysis machine that I was thinking of doing. It takes plastic that's recycled and turning that into fuel. And I was thinking about reselling that into the just consumer market for like students that can afford like $3 a gallon or whatever that is, right? Where they can buy for half the price or whatever that is because it was healthier fuel. COVID happened, of course. I never got to go back to that because my mentor was in Hawaii, and I suddenly was finding myself back in Malaysia. So that project completely just went downhill. But I think the other type of stuff that I tried to do aside from that, I mean, I tried stock investments. I did well for some time, but there was like a period where it just crashed. So I tried to tell myself, okay, let's probably learn something that I can be more. I think that I have more control in as well. So I didn't want to go back to stocks because I think it took time, resources, and sometimes you just don't have the control on how a company does things. So if they put a news one day that they're, doing something that I think the public doesn't like, people start taking away their money from the business, and you could lose your money too. So I realized that, okay, I probably don't want to be in that kind of boat in that scenario just yet, because I don't have that much money to invest, right, and then to get like a strong returns on. So I think those are the small things that I've done in the past. I recently also tried, I think, looking into like some content creation things, but maybe I didn't want to jump into that too soon. So that's kind of like where I'm at. I think the whole Amazon FBA type of operation seems to be a little bit more stable, at least something that you can control and then you can learn from. So I'm looking to really learn from something that can be a scalable business. and that I have more control in, right? And into like choosing my own products, my customers, and kind of going that pathway. Because for the longest time, I feel like I've been choosing things that were kind of, they were nice, I think, but like I don't think I could have understood or grasped the idea of like customers in those industries. And maybe the pyrolysis machine would have been great back then if COVID didn't happen, because I would have had more time to work on the machine. But that too, I was creating something from scratch. It was more of like a creative endeavor than it was with, actually getting to selling a product that's already made. So yeah, those are the things that I've done so far in the past. It's been like, even that machine was like almost 6 years ago. So that's been a while.
Absolutely. That means you built. You're born with an entrepreneur spirit, and you that is considered as a good blessing. I feel like we all was born with some gift, and it takes time to discover it. But now, after 30 years worth of life, we almost like halfway through our life already, and I feel like you right now is the right time. Because for me, I think it's like everything in life takes time, but the perfect moment, the perfect time might not be, but today will be the last. Because every day we're dying, so today gonna be the perfect day for us to always channel back into our childhood dream and become something that we always dream of. But hey, brother, I appreciate you for sharing that. And I think it's going to always be, you always want to start something bigger and bigger. And that's why the foundation is important. Okay. So for you right now, would you like to hear more? So earlier you asking me some question about how much the financing that needed, right?
Yeah.
So number one, do you have pen and paper that you can take notes? Because I do recommend you
Yeah.
to take note. Okay, awesome. So number one, I'm gonna show you how much time that you will need. Okay. So
Sure.
for most people, when they started by themselves, they spend a lot of time to do research, and this can cost you a lot of time. And that's why we trying to shortcut it for you by putting everything into a system, a ready to learn system, step by step. And these are the experience from me as well as my mentor, Charlie, and my other mentor, as well as like smart people. I condense everything in here. And these information, you would not get this out there because there's a lot of condensed and advanced information that you would not find on YouTube.
Right.
Beside the technical stuff, okay? The strategy is what you may not find on YouTube. But we basically condense everything in here. And the cost of this, because I do still pay my mentor Charlie $30,000 a year for him to mentor me. And these are the information that I'm able to condense back into this. So what you will learn, number one, so every day you're gonna spend about 1 hour. We are not looking at like overwhelming yourself with a lot of tasks because we do have responsibility. We do have a 9 to 5 job that we have to keep up with. So that's why we only recommend to look at consistency over time, over quantity, consistency and quality. So every day, 1 hour a day, or minimum 30 minutes to learn from the material and practice. Someday you feel like you have more motivation, you can do more. But someday you don't feel motivated, do less. But keep it minimum 30 to 1 hour a day. Just like when you wake up, you brush your teeth without thinking. So we're trying to help you build a routine. As an entrepreneur, most of people they have the knowledge, but they don't have the execution habit to make it happen. They don't have the connection. And that's why in here we train you to have number one, the routine, and you will be required to listen to audiobook while you're driving or you're working out too, okay? And then we have mindset that would equip for you whenever you're stuck in, let's say, you're stuck in analysis paralysis, you're gonna go watch these video to overcome the hump, and then join the classes. And we have classes on a consistent weekly basis. Right now, we are restructuring some of the classes to fit the student time schedule better. But we have Monday, Millionaire Mindset. We have group study on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday. And these also have the recording in case if you don't have the time, then you can always watch the recording and you can always send your question in ahead of time so that we can answer it and then you can watch the class recording. But if you prefer, I would recommend to go live. go into live training. Just like in college, you learn best when you are in the classroom. So we have um, 4 to 5 classes per week with recording. And these class usually about 1 hour. So my recommendation to my student is, let's say the class day, just dedicate that time to learn. 1 hour of learning, and then trying to take minimal action so get started, and then the next day complete those tasks. Okay. Yeah. So that is the commitment. 1 hour of learning every single day, and the time is usually for our students. I'll show you a realistic time frame so that you can see. Okay. So we have
Yeah.
two type of people: people that have a lot of responsibility, and people that have like medium responsibility. And you have to assess your situation to know which one are you falling into, because it's going to dictate how you execute, and it's going to dictate how the process will go. Okay. So for example, we have Jennifer. I'm going to show you Jennifer. She has like medium responsibility. She don't have her parents. She doesn't need to take care of her parents that much. She just have to focus on school and graduation. Okay. So Jennifer, the take about um, she was it was her last year of school, so she was delaying for about a few months behind. So her launching time was roughly about 1 year.
Mm, right.
Yeah, because she had like midterm and she no like final years, so she have to really put the time and the work in. But we support her until she make it happen, and this is her result. So if you are, let's say, graduate students and you are still like midterm, like final years, you expect to be about 1 year. Okay. But if, let's say, right now you don't have a lot of responsibility, I'm going to show you this one right here, which is Angel. All you need to do is just, if you only have like work responsibility and just family, I'm going to show you this, and I feel like this is going to fit your situation. So let me show you Angel first, okay? So
Yeah.
his record, he did about $100,000 in sale in the first 6 months. So when did he get started? He started in April 2024. You can see the date here, right?
Yeah.
So this is the start date. He's 30 years old from Virginia, and he is a physical therapist. And I'm going to show you when he find his first product and financing it. So I'm going to go here. So he found his first product within 1 month, the first month. You can see the date here. Consider he
Yeah.
putting the time consistently, okay, to learn and to execute. And once he has the products, we're going to help him to make sure that he apply for business funding, because you need to leverage the bank for 0% interest to start. You don't want to use your cash on him, because what happens if there's emergency arise? You do
Right.
want to have a peace of mind that you have cash on hands. So we teach him how to use business credit card with 0% interest. And one thing about these things is with a business, it doesn't report to your personal score. So it doesn't affect your debt to ratio income on your personal side.
Okay.
So that is the same month after we found the first product together. And let's talk about when he placed a bulk order, okay? Because
Yeah.
this process really straightforward, but you just have to make sure that you do the right thing. So he spent he spent about 2 weeks to a month to develop his product, because just like in a 9 to 5 marketplace, 9 to 5 jobs, when you get hired, not just because you're good looking, because you have what the employer is looking for. You meet the market demand. Same on Amazon. When you find a product, you cannot be just like anyone else selling generic product. Everyone can have a bachelor degree, but what differentiates you from other people is your years of experience, your willingness, your attitude, right? Same on
Yeah.
Amazon. Your product will need to be differentiated by you offering more product bundle, improve on the quality, and make sure you give the customer the peace of mind by having like money back guarantee. So basically, a good offer. And it take 1 month to develop and place a book order. We're gonna work with you to make sure that you do the right thing. Okay. So
Okay.
3 months, first month learning product research and find your first product, and then get funding from business, and also start product development and sourcing. So after third month, you should starting to already have things moving overseas. And now your job on the fourth month is to learn about how to build your brand store on Amazon. We're going to give you the connection that you can learn how we do it. And if you prefer, we also providing you professional people who can help you with all of that as well, so that you can save your time to focus on your 9 to 5 job. Because we focus on all autonomous. We're not focusing on doing it yourself. Because at your 9 to 5 job, if you make more than $50 an hour, go ahead and outsource anything that below that money. We work smarter, not harder. And this is the game. Okay. Yep. So this is right here. He placed a bulk order in June. And let me show you when he started launching. Okay. So right here, congratulations. Hoping already launched this time. So by September, so it took him about 1 month to produce the product, 1 month to ship it to Amazon, and to final check to make sure everything is smooth running, the operation is smooth running before you officially start launching. So from June to September, that is when it's launched. And I want you to write down some key data. Number one, it's going to take you 1 month to producing the product from China, and about 2 weeks to a month to ship the product from China to Amazon. And we're going to give you connection from freight forwarder that would help you do all that. The only thing that you need to learn in this game, the only rule of thumb that you need to learn is how can you make yourself stand out in just digital marketing on Amazon. And that's how you launch it within the first 6 months or less. And you will be able to see your proof of concept is proven right away. And that's how, so he's launched September. You can see his sales right here. So there are two scenarios, okay? If you do the foundation right, your graph gonna look like this. But if you don't do the foundation right, your graph may look like very like fragmented. But then you can come back and fix it. Let's an entrepreneur, we always have to come back. What work, what doesn't, and then we fix it. And we guiding you through how to fix it, like an engineer. Okay. Yep. So this is when he launched it, the the project, so that way it gives you realistic time for someone who do have an active job and just have family responsibility. And he does have girlfriend, not marriage, no kids. Okay. And I think this is your situation. And I think that you have right now, I feel like you have the prime time compared to other people who have family, who have
Yes.
kids, and who have a lot of responsibility. And so, yeah, he launched in September. And let me scroll next is by. So if you see a graph like this, it's been everything has been clicked. Your foundation has been running smoothly. And the first month he did about 28,000 in sales. But keep in mind though, okay? Keep in mind, during this stage, it's all about establishing your credibility. He makes sales, he make profit, but he gonna reinvest back into marketing and to
Mhm.
improving his product.
Right.
So usually within the first, I want you to write down, very important, okay? Usually the first batch, you would not get an ROI because you reinvest back to the business. And depending on how competitive the market is, it might take longer time or shorter time. But most Amazon seller, if they that we teach, if they do the right things, On the second to the third batch, they already established reputation with Amazon. They already established a place in the marketplace. And Amazon tend to prefer you to the customer if you are 5 star and good sales, good sale volumes. Okay.
Okay.
And then you know that this click, and now you can make a decision whether you want to keep growing it because there's no income ceiling on this thing. Because if the things click and work, all you gotta do next is just start scaling. So this is he have done by the end of that year. This store is he doing about more than 50,000 already, and during this time he start profiting already. I think he has like on the second batch, the first batch,
Okay.
and then he restock right away. You don't wait until you're out of stock. You see, you do the average,
Hmm.
and if and you want to buy, let's say 10 to 15 days out. If you see your stuff
Yeah.
going, just like your stock investment, if you see a stock perform well and you see a upsize high good news, right? You hop on. And one last thing that I want to share with you during that time when he's launching it is you see this one was a test period of time.
Right.
And during this stage, this is a second batch coming in. Q4 and Q1. Friday, Cyber Monday, New Year, New Me product. And his product is in that basket. And right now is a
Interesting.
perfect time for you to because Q4 is when you make most of the money. You see, Q4 he could make more during this time too, but it was just a practice test the first year, just like a 9 to 5 jobs. When you first got into a 9 to 5 job, you have to sacrifice more to get noticed by your boss, right?
Yeah.
But the first year always about practicing your skill, anchor your skill. No great entrepreneur was born to be great. They build over time. Do you agree with me on that?
Yeah. No, I agree.
And I want to set realistic expectation. I don't want to promise you anything because I do want to make sure that you have the realistic expectation on this journey as an engineer and as a business owner. Okay. And that's how his journey done it. That's how he done it. And now he just keep focusing on it, hankering his skill, and just building up his journey. And he also have the privilege to travel. And this is the thing that you want to look for too, right? The travel, the flexibility.
Right.
During the time when he out of stock, he also traveling with his family because he do have a lot of travel points from spending the money. So I recommend my student is always have travel credit card. So when you spend money, you get travel points.
Okay.
And when he relaunch, the momentum he when you build a good momentum, good foundation, it's a lot easier for you to relaunch. So when we relaunch, he did $3,000 in sales. But this is not typical, okay? Because most people are not built to be successful. They have to take the time. An angel fall into that bucket of having a good 9 to 5 jobs and not having kids responsibility. So if you find yourself in that situation, this is gonna be the potential upside, but always be conservative, okay? Always
Okay.
underestimate. Set low expectation, but just know for sure that this can grow. And like he shared that he's still on vacation exploring Japan and Philippines. His family is from Asia, from Philippines and Japan. But this is what he shared. You can read it too. He's happy because this, when I read this, it's really happy for me to see it too. Is he feel happy that he can travel while earning. And like Warren Buffett said, if you never find a way to make money while you sleep, you work until you die. And most people, they don't find a way out. And that's why most people, they wait until they're 60 when things is hard to change to do that. And yeah, and this is his testimonial that you can watch. I recommend you to watch it too, So that way you understand his thought process because I dive deep into his journey. Let me show you. Yeah, that here. So this is him. You can see the resemblance right here. Right? And I'm going to show you so that way you know that his yeah, I'm going to show, but you can see the hairstyle.
Okay.
I'm not going to show you his face just for privacy. But there you go. So we break down everything that I share with you so you can be able to listen from his point of view. Okay. And I'll send it over to you so that you can watch it. But yeah, so now let's talk about investment. Okay. So the time is 1 hours a day consistently. Sometimes you do more, sometimes you do less. It's really come to you, but build a habit. Any entrepreneur has a habit, and we're going to walk you through how to do it. So for the finance, for the first batch, it's really depending on how much money you are willing to put on the table to risk. Because in life, when you put money into a stock market, you're already risking it already, but you
Yep.
have no control over the market. But in here, you have full control. So it's really come down to number one, how much budget that you're willing to put on the table. That's why we make sure that you decked out your your budget. What will be a realistic budget for you looks like. And then we reverse engineer. Let's say you want to make 100,000 in revenue and 30% profit margin, right? Then we're going to reverse engineer. This is my revenue and reverse engineer. Selling price, we recommend to sell mid-tier to 30 to about $50 or less. You don't want to find yourself selling $10 item because most people they're going to go into and do that. They're trying
Mm-hmm.
to most people try to do like the minimum risk as possible, but then they find themselves overwhelmed with a lot of marketing fee because it's more saturated. So this is a mid tier, and I'm just put a conservative number 35. So if $35 per selling price, you would need 286 units. And usually the cost of product in Alibaba, there's a divided by three. Selling price divided by three, you will be able to get the cost of goods because most of the time we multiply it by three. And that would be able to project to you the inventory cost, which is $3,000 for the first batch, okay? And you can do an allocation of budget right here. So $10,000 perhaps going to be your capital, and $3,000, 30%, which is the inventory budget. Marketing budget, you're going to set aside 3,000, just like gas money. And you can spend more or spend less, but remember that this one, your goal, you're trying to spend a little bit of this, okay? Because when you make a sales, you already profit and you can use that profit to reinvest into marketing. But for here, I'm just like reserve, just emergency fund to make sure that you have fuel. Okay. Yeah. So for inventory costs about 3,000. For marketing budget, about another 2 to 3,000. I just like to be conservative. And for miscellaneous fee, let's play conservatively. Let's say 2,500. And same with emergency fund. We always came into this game very calculated. And you can open credit card that give you sign up bonuses. And you can also open business checking account that give you sign up bonuses as well. Let's say business checking with sign up bonuses, right? Are you familiar with those products?
The sign up bonuses one? Sorry, which
Uh-huh.
one?
Yeah, like this.
Uh, no, first time hearing about this.
Yeah. So there are bank, for example, US Bank. If you open a business checking with them, you would earn $500 if you deposit $5,000 in new money with them in the first 30 days. So you can instead of using your emergency fund, your cash on hand to go with this, right? Go with the credit card route and park that money in this thing right here. So that you earn $500. That would offset the cost of the initial investment. Are you with me?
Right. Yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's all about collecting. And this is a business checking. You already collect 500. And then we have business credit card with sign up bonuses. For example, like Inc. Business, they give you $750 in intro sign up bonuses. Are you familiar with this or no?
I think I've seen this. Yeah,
So when you open this business credit cards, because you're gonna have the business anyway, you need to have it so that you can get more funding.
right.
So they give you 750 when you spend $6,000 on credit cards. So you're gonna dedicate this 6,000 toward investing into the product itself. Let me see. There you go. So you see, you can allocate a spending on here, some of the miscellaneous fee. But the goal here is you want to stack. Okay, my goal here is you want to stack sign up bonuses. 500 here, 750 here. You already earn by being a business owner already. And it does offset the cost. Because if you calculate 750, right? So sign up bonuses is 750 plus 500. It's going to help you offset the initial cost of capital working capital. You see? You see how I play out the math as an entrepreneur, right? Because in
Right.
entrepreneurship, you have to learn how to leverage. Because when you start scaling, you cannot work to make money to start pumping capital into the business. You have to leverage.
Right.
And that's why most of my students, I encourage them to start small. Because if you never manage a small loan, how can you manage bigger loans,
Hmm.
right? And when you start scaling, like one of my students, he scaled to $500,000. That means he needs to have at least $150,000 in liquid cash, liquid capital, working capital. And that's why you need to start small. And this is another student of mine, one-on-one. He's a one-on-one student. What I shared earlier, they are like group learning, but this one is one-on-one. But my point here is learn how to manage your finance. The sooner you start learning how to manage your finance, especially in business, the easier you will be to start making sales. Any question for me?
So far, no, I've been taking down a lot of notes, just being sure that, I understand what you're saying here. So basically, try to find as much ways to leverage other people's cash. I think like banks, credit cards, like you've mentioned, sign-on bonuses, like you mentioned, basically, right? And then compiling
Yeah.
that to offset some of the fees, which I found very, very interesting. Yeah, because I do have, I think, some other friends that mentioned about these things. I just haven't taken it yet because I didn't want to just have more responsibilities. But it does sound like it's important to find that ways, I guess, these ways of getting free cash to actually offset a lot of these extra expenses, which I think is very possible. Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited because it looks like there's some ways to leverage a little bit more with just the finances. I'm not gonna lie and say that I'm the best at managing my finances. However, I feel like I can be smarter, like what you're saying, and it would really help out with just like a lot of these different finances, where I have to reinvest it into business or just find the extra cash that I don't have to pay for. I think I like the idea of credit cards too because I think for the longest time I've just been just kind of using my own cash, but I think I need to start using the bank's money and going that route instead. So yeah.
And your journey is understandable as well because I work with so many people, including myself in the beginning. I always think that debt was bad, and it's true in some way for people who are irresponsible to
Right,
spend debt on the appreciation, like the appreciation asset, and let's say like buying Gucci bag and stuff like that. It's so those are the bad debt.
right,
So I'm glad that I'm able to open up different way for you to think. And one book that I would recommend you to do, because it's basically going to give you the thought process of an
right.
entrepreneur. It's called Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And that was the book that helped me think differently about debt.
Okay. Which is good because I actually have the physical book on my shelf. I just haven't had the time to read it, but I'll just start reading that.
And another book that I would recommend you to, because you will never find time to start reading books. That's why audio book become your best friend.
Right.
So I want you to read the book, The Atomic Habits. It's going to break
Okay.
down how can you compress the time and get more done.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah, I have both of those books. I think there's an audio book that I have been listening to for Atomic Habits. I've been as far as chapter 9, I think, but
Uh-huh.
I'll restart it from chapter 1 and then go back up because there are a lot of good content in there. I think it's good
Mhm.
to go from first chapter to like all the way instead of like continuing back from chapter 9. Probably have forgotten a lot of that, but no, I agree with you. I'll start reading those books right away. Is that going to be like the first month essentially is just reading mindset books?
Yeah, I'll show you. So the
Okay.
first month, so think of it this way, okay? I'm going to give you books, different way of the journey.
Okay.
Just like learning like Kung Fu or like Kung Fu, we always have to make sure we get you the foundation. So I'm going to show you some books that you need to get started. Number one is Think and Grow Rich. But once you enroll, you can start, or you can start if you want to. But number one, we're going to give you all the books that you need, but step by step. We don't want to overwhelm you with books.
Right.
But most of the book that we share with you is going to restructure the way that you think. Just like you upgrading your operating system, which is your mind, like a computer. Our brain is a supercomputer.
Right.
So how and can we tap in is very crucial. So this book that you can see right here is I make my student read this book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and then I introduce them into creative funding. Okay. So yeah, I think that you are on the right track, and I'm glad that you're able to open it. And like I share with you, in life, the more money you make, the more responsibility that you solve. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because you solve people responsibility. Let's say someone don't want to do something. Let me solve it. That's how you get paid. The bigger the problem you solve, the more money you make. And in life, you get paid for how much you're able to carry. And eventually, in life, in even real estate and stock investment, you carry more responsibility, more risk, but more return. And it's always good to start small. And I don't want you to over leverage, okay? That's why I want you guys to always start small and collecting sign up bonuses to offset the risk. So the takeaway for this one I share with you is play the card, understand about the tool that you can use, and play very strategically and learn before you start execute. And then we're gonna execute along the way with you.
Sounds good.
Start small. Start small. If you're never able to manage small fund, everyone have to start small. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So did I answer your question on the
Yeah.
second question based on how much?
Yeah. For definitely the business. Yeah, that makes sense. It depends, I guess, one, the product I'm looking into. And then from there, it's about just basically getting in the liquid cash that they can get from these smaller things to offset the costs,
Yeah.
and also getting a business credit card so that it's not the money that I'm paying straight up from the cash that I have. It's going to be cash that's borrowed from the bank at a zero interest rate too, right? Zero APR for like a certain time frame, I believe. Maybe it's a year or 2 years. Um, but yeah, so that's very clear on what I should be doing with that. Okay. I forgot to put emergency funds here,
Yeah.
15%. Okay. Funds. Yeah, and I also did the whole backward engineering. I took as much notes as I could, 30% for budgeting of the product, 30% for marketing, 25% for miscellaneous, and then 15% for like emergency funds. I found that very important because I think sometimes I'm pretty quick to think that, oh, I just need like this amount of money, but I think this whole breakdown is financially something. So I guess the question I have is like, do I have to prepare cash of this much just in case, or what's like your biggest, I guess, advice for that? Because I think
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I know how much they offer for a credit line when it comes to business credit cards. So just curious if I'll have to put a mix of cash and also a mix of like business credit cards.
Yeah. Good question. So let me share with you. So for Angel, um, he has approval with. So before you start approval, right, you need to go and call up your bank, the bank that you have good relationship with at first,
Yeah,
and call them to increase your personal credit limits. And because there's a rule, the bank allow you to call in and request every single 3 months. And the bank business is they want to lend you money, but they don't know how much you need. So you have to say how much you need
right,
and increase it over time because now you increase your spending power, but you're not spending it on liability. You're willing to spend it on producing asset. So my goal here is number one, for today action that you can have some action takeaway is call up your personal bank and asking for 3 times more the offer that they offer you. And for me, I usually asking for 3 times, and you can share with them your income level and just project. You don't want to share the realistic, okay? You want to share the projected income level. And
right, for the
usually they're gonna
business.
come with a counter offer for
Right,
you. But I always want to start 3 times and then a counter offer. But at least you're gonna have it. And call at least if you have multiple bank, call them up at one time. Okay, same day, so that you can
okay,
increase your personal. And it's usually just soft inquiry. It's not a hard inquiry, and it doesn't ding your score. So come back to your question. There's gonna be a mix. So every month, when you work at your 9 to 5 job, set aside some money, like into your piggy bank, into your dream bank. We always want to compiling it up. Okay, set aside because let's say every month you set aside $500 into your from your cash, like from your business. In 6 months, that is 3,000 already, right?
right,
And just keep setting it, and then start stacking up some sign-up bonuses and asking. Let's say you have family, right? You can do personal. They are a personal credit card, personal, personal credit card with sign-up bonuses. And let's say you have an upcoming family expense. Say, hey, friends, hey, mom and dad, or like, hey, sister, let me take care of the bill for you guys. And you can
hmm
start stacking up some sign up bonuses in your personal, right? And just get learning. Learning, take small step, take calculated step. And every month, pause, reassessing your performance. Any good entrepreneur assessing themselves. And that's how you're able to start stacking. Like this one is 750 venture capital one credit card. After you spend 4,000 per month, but don't spend it on liability, okay? Let's say if you have family or let's say you have friends that are about to buy a couch or something like that. Say, hey, before you start spending money on, let's say, your couch, let me buy it for you. I need to hit this up. I'm going to give you a kickback, $100 kickback. They lose nothing and you win something.
right.
That is the mindset of entrepreneur arbitrage and make sure everyone win-win. All right. So to answer your question again, every month set aside some money to put into your dream bank. You have a peace of mind, and your mind would eventually work out its magic and start optimizing your living expense because we
Okay.
have a survival mind. Okay. When you put yourself
Right.
in a survival mode and force yourself, let's say, put aside this money to your dream bank. Now your mind survival on the rest of the money. That is the mind power of the mind. Okay. So set this aside, and for these credit card, you're gonna pay if you open like if you have how many if you have good credit score. Most of the credit card gonna give you 0% interest for the first 12 months, 12 to 15 months. And you gotta do is you need to set a reoccurring automatic payment every month so that you don't forget about it. You set it, you set the automated payment so that you don't forget about it. Okay, and that
Okay.
would help keep you in the loops to retain the 0% interest. Okay, so that is the term. So I challenge you when you apply for our first product, read the application terms and build up that habit of reading as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so 3%, 3% to maintain the balance. And usually it's like cheap, $100, $200 a month. So I was recommend to deck out your financial game plan and leveraging it. Leveraging it with a plan. When you come in with a plan, you already win ahead of time. And these are a ton of credit cards. And I'm gonna brought to you another points that you want to learn, okay? Which is
Yeah.
balance transfer. Because each of these bank offer you balance transfer. Okay. What is a balance transfer? Do you know what a balance transfer is?
I think it's whatever you gain in that credit card, you just move it to the next card or something like that, right?
That is correct. Whatever the balance that you have. And if you don't want to pay it off, you can move it to the next one. These are like for scenario where you find yourself in a product market where it takes longer time to see a return on investment. That means you need more time.
Mhm.
You can move this around to the next credit cards. And you also earn 2% sign up bonus, which is offset the balance transfer, which is 3%. So you get to borrow money as well. And you can transfer this around. Like this one give you 18 months. This one give you 6 months. That's the beauty of America. But this is more advanced level. Right now, your goal is just need to be beginner first. I don't want to overwhelm you, but I'm just
Okay.
letting you know what is the possibility looks like for your journey as a beginning entrepreneur.
Sounds good. That makes sense.
All right, brother. Learn a lot. You learned a lot today?
No, this is perfect. Yeah. Um,
There's more.
like I definitely would love to keep learning. I think you're right. I need to start reading a few books that you've recommended. Maybe doing the whole like audiobooks to see if I, you know, can first get into the mindset. I've been trying to fix my sleep. First of all, wake up earlier, make sure my mind is ready for the day. And I think that's one of the physical aspects that I need to chime down on. So I can actually then give time into the program too. Like you've
Mhm.
mentioned, 1 hour a day is important. It's not too much. In fact, it's not much at all. So I think that makes a lot of sense. It's going to be a lot of investment in time consistently. So I want to make sure I can do that. And so I guess what's the next steps from here?
Yeah. So based on what I share, because I don't want to take you in if I don't feel like this is going to be helpful for you, and if your
Right.
financial situation doesn't support it, because we have to face the reality is starting a business, it does require investment and also learning as well. So based on what I share, what do you think about the program? Do you think it will be helpful to you? And do you think why you are a good fit for the program?
I think it'll be very, no, I believe it'll be very helpful. I don't just think, right? Because I feel like after seeing everything, it makes sense. And you as a mentor as well, you're really good with like sharing how to offset different things, which I find very helpful. Because my biggest worry was always like, okay, like, do I have to use cash, right? And so having to learn how to leverage just other people's cash or the bank's cash. I think that's been helpful. I want to learn more about that too, in the whole process. Um, and so maybe I think what you're mentioning as well is that I need emergency fundings, and just based on the calculation that we've mentioned, and some form of I think reserve to fall back onto. Not saying that that's going to be the main source of cash that I'm going to be putting into the business, but just something as like an emergency funding and start planning things out properly. So I think it would be a great fit. I just need maybe about 2 to 3 months to prepare some financial backing, and then I think coming into this would be the perfect timing by then. Um, so that's my realistic side looking into this. And I want to make sure that, I can really commit without thinking, oh, I need to pay for food in the house, or like the rent's almost due and all different things. So instead of thinking about that, I'm really hyper focused on what to do next. So I think realistically from what you've shared, I need to give myself time.
All right, guys. So today, and that is the end of this podcast. And make sure that you subscribe, like, and share this one. Feel free to comment down if you have any questions. And our mission at Amazon Shifu, as always, is all about giving you the raw truth of expectation, as well as how to help you grow your business from the ground up and even scaling. Okay. So if you want to learn more about our mission, a ton of free resources that we have available, please feel free to visit our website, amzshifu.com, or check out the video description for link and access to our free training and blog posts, and give me a follow on Instagram. And if you're coming from this podcast, send me a DM and I will send you a free ebook that I usually charge people money. As a comprehensive ebook, but I'm going to give it to you for free. Go ahead and send me an Instagram DM, okay, at Justin DeHancho. Find more information in the video description, and I'll see you guys more. 1% more every single day. Shifu Warrior, and to the top we go. Peace out, guys.